I can stand my hair up on end. We can go troll on troll right now.
Okay, now it sounds really graphic.
2 trolls, 1...
One comment? That doesn't make any sense.
2 trolls, 1 comment.
Trisha broke John.
Again.
Greetings and/or salutations, and welcome to Imbibe Cinema. The Imbibe Cinema podcast is brought to you by the Blue Whiskey Independent Film Festival, otherwise known as BWIF. We are currently accepting submissions for our 2025 festival. We seek independent, character-driven films of all lengths, styles, and genres. To learn more, please visit us at bwiff.com. I am Festival Operations Director, as well as MC Jonathan C. Leggett, along with my co-host, Cinema Centennial Program Director,
Trisha Leggett.
Why did Gollum start whispering?
Oh, ow. That was my Ghost of Christmas Past voice.
Why are we close to Christmas anything?
Yeah, that's next week. Next week.
Next week. I'm too soon. Too soon.
As well as producer and the executive director of the film festival,
Michael Nowens.
In this episode, we are going to be discussing the 30th anniversary of the 1994 classic cinema film, Speed.
Yes.
The cocktail we will be imbibing is a drink called the High Speed. It is gin, lemon rum, and quote-unquote energy drink. We're too old. And it's too late, and we don't want to not sleep. So
we can't have energy. We're too old for it.
I can't do Red Bull ever.
Yeah,
it's just.
I mean, I can.
I feel like they're limited years ahead, and I don't want to speed them up.
But this is called Le Speed. It is a high speed.
I feel like I was drunk before I drank. Like, that's how fast it worked.
Wow. Well, that is why it is called the High Speed.
Yeah.
We did essentially make a spritzer that is meant to taste similar to an energy drink like Red Bull that we added to this because it did not contain caffeine because we'll be up all night.
In addition to podcast, you're like, and I minored in mixology.
Well, thanks to Imbibe Cinema, I practically have.
Right? Our bar is huge for all these things that you use once.
It is well stocked but we do have an entire recipe book for all these drinks that we could easily make at a holiday gathering.
Right, and that's why
I was a holiday book.
That's why I was so excited when I saw this one. I was like, "Oh, hey, aviation gin!
Yes.
We can put that to work again."
Yep.
Well, yeah, and the two of you are just very excited to drink that again. Period.
Well, I mean, if we have to drink gin, I think
it's the time of year
to go down on a Christmas tree. The recipe, as well as all of the pictures for it, are available on our website, imbibecinema.com, and our mobile app. In addition to this podcast, we also offer a variety of short and feature-length independent films that you can enjoy for free. But when you become an Imbibe Cinema member, you can also get access to monthly limited releases and the BWIF virtual experience for our week-long festival. To learn more and begin your membership, visit imbibecinema.com or download the Imbibe Cinema mobile app, available on the App Store and Google Play. So, Le Speed.
Le Speed. Pop quiz.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. What is the pop quiz?
What is the pop quiz?
Yeah. Did you have a pop quiz, or were you just teasing it?
What do you think about this movie?
Okay. Here's the thing. It's one of those movies that you're like, I remember Speed. It wasn't that long. Oh shit. It was 30 years ago.
Yep.
30 years ago.
My God, I don't want to admit that much time has passed. And then you watch it again, and it holds up.
Right?
And there are so many that don't. And you're like, damn, this is a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
because there's really, I mean, you break it down, there's really nothing that special to it that's different than like your average action movie. It's just like, I guess, lightning in a bottle is kind of the best way to put it.
Yeah.
It's just the right combination of people, the right tone, the right
music, the right
editing, the right, you know, you're just in it the entire time. It doesn't get
and I forgot about the beginning. I forgot.
And the end.
Well, and so there was a point where I like we're watching it and I'm like, oh God, no, not the elevator. Wait, how does it end? I don't know. Do they live? I don't know.
And then there's the end, because you're like, oh, they're finally off the bus. Wait, there's more?
Wait, no, we have to get a train involved, obviously.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, it's just one of those things that, like, it kept you on the edge of your seat the entire time that you're watching it.
Yeah.
You are absolutely riveted, you know.
It's high stakes and it's like heightened reality, but it's not so far gone ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's grounded in some sort of a reality, which is nice.
right.
Yes.
Some sort of a reality.
Something.
In reality, I should say. It is grounded in reality.
Right.
I would
Like,
say.
I mean, I believe the crane held the elevator. I mean, there are lots of things where you're like, I don't believe that would have worked, but that didn't seem realistic.
I did enjoy, like, there's this, like, one little cable that it hits, and you're like, oh, yeah, that'll hold it.
Yeah.
And then, like, the next shot, it's like, it
The
goes
whole
through an
thing,
entire, like, metal thing, and you're
Right.
like, yeah, but that one cable held it for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
That's suspense. That's what
Yes.
Quite literally.
Oh, and it's a whole save the cat thing, but it's a save the people from the elevator thing.
So the people in the elevator are cats?
Well, yeah, because like one of the what is it, the screenplay book where they talk about how like if you want to prove that the hero is a good person and likable right away, you have to have them save a cat. And then you're like, oh, they're a nice person because they've saved a cat. And in this case, you know, like when we meet our protagonist, like he's having a muffin. Wait, isn't that
Right.
he's having a muffin? Everybody knows him.
Yeah,
He's
getting
really
a
laid
coffee.
back. He's doing great. And but then he has to save people from an elevator, and you're like, okay, no, this is a good person.
Mm-hmm.
He has to go when everybody else is like, no, it's not. It's too late. They're dead. He's like, no, I think I can figure this out.
Throws himself into the action all the time, regardless of how ridiculous the, for lack of a better word, stunt is.
Yeah.
And I think what also is really good about this movie is there really isn't another option.
Right.
You know, like I feel like in a lot of movies where it's like you could walk through the door, or we could somehow launch ourselves onto the roof and then somehow come in that way because it's the element of surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas this, he turns to extreme measures because time is of the essence and they're running out of it, or like, I mean, skipping kind of to later, like one of the more crazy stunts is when he finally gets off the bus, he gets permission to get off the bus, and then is on this like dolly type thing. I don't know what you would call it. And is going under the bus while it's going full speed. There really isn't a whole lot of other options that they can come up with at that moment. But it's insane.
Yes, the craziest thing, the thing where you're like, okay, we jump in the shark.
Yes.
That to me is okay. So we ran out of highway.
Yes.
You're gonna come a gap. How big is the gap?
But what makes it work is Joe Morton, who plays the chief, in the way that he does that, where he's like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me! It's finished. It's finished on the goddamn map.
Yep.
Everybody's fired. Everybody's fucking fired." I feel like that was the reaction of we've jumped the shark.
Right? And the fact that everybody, like the way he's delivering the news, is like, okay, so there's just a little bit of well, how big are we talking? Like, oh yeah, sure, that would have happened. And mind you, if it was half the size, it's still not like, but no, we had to make it ridiculous.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's about 50 feet, at least.
It's like E.T. on a kind of bike.
Yeah. Actually, E.T. on a bike is probably the most accurate description of that. To think that it is level to level and they make it? Okay,
Right.
sure.
Not just that.
There's
The
not
bomb
a-
doesn't go off.
Yeah, there's no ramp that,
Oh, so good. But you know, the other thing that I like about this movie, as far as like action heroes go, is the buddy relationship.
Yes.
And the fact that it's Jack, right?
Jack and Harry.
Jack and Harry. Jack isn't this cool cat. He's not like this guy with a chip on his shoulder kind of thing. He's just a guy. He's a normal guy. And he wants to do the right thing.
Yep.
And so there's
very focused.
Yeah, and he's a Boy
very
Scout.
focused.
Yeah. And he's not like this big, like there's this big backstory to him or anything like that. He's just you kind of go along with that. And then you have Jeff Daniels' character Harry, who is kind of like the audience talking.
Yeah.
Right? He's also, I guess, the wise older wizard kind of character.
Yes.
he's the
Which unfortunately means, like in Harry Potter,
right,
he got to go.
You have to die to prove the situation is serious.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he says things that were like, yeah, we were all thinking it. Thank you, Harry.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about, we've referenced Harry's demise.
Oh my
let's
God, I'm
kind of
sorry.
just jump into it.
I know.
No, it's
And
a sad
spoiler,
moment.
30 years later, I've spoiled it all for
Yeah,
you.
if you haven't
Jeff
seen
Daniels doesn't make it.
You're not imbibing responsibly.
well done.
It was one of those things where it's like he's so lovable.
Yeah.
He's so like and I know there's the stereotype or the trope where, you know, if you kill off the best friend or the love interest or the dog or whatever to motivate the hero, but you just don't see it coming.
Correct.
No.
You don't. He's so
And when it happens, you feel like you should have seen it coming.
right, and you're just traumatized.
Yeah.
Correct. And I think it's actually one of the more interesting missing elements, I think, to a lot of cinema in general. And I feel that at the same time, if they added it, it would lose its effect.
Yeah.
But the fact that when you kill off a main character that you don't anticipate can die, you immediately up the stakes of everything else that's going on.
Right.
And as much as I hate to say it, at the same time that I love to say it, Serenity.
Yeah. I was
Firefly.
thinking about Serenity.
Yeah, when they kill Wash.
Oh my God.
Like they
Heartbreak.
kill Book and you're like, "Oh, okay. You know, they're killing main characters." They kill Wash. It immediately became every single one of these characters could die right
Yes.
now.
And I'm
Right.
going to take it in a different direction because my brain immediately goes to not a favorite film, but I do love how they played on it, how audiences established beliefs. And it's is it Deep Water? What is
Oh, yeah. Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. Because
Samuel L.
it's like Samuel
Jackson
in the middle of a motivating speech, dead.
Yeah.
He's a big name in the middle of a motivating speech, dead. That is not something that happens. And then like you think, who is it that is the chef?
LL Cool J. I think.
Yes, Cool J does an amazing job. Because like his video, he's like, he knows he's gonna die because he just knows. He's like, my character's gonna die. And he has this whole like, I'm gonna give like will and testament in a video and I'm just
About
gonna
the
perfect omelet.
Yep.
Because he's a chef.
Yeah,
And he's like, let me just give you this because this is what I have to leave for the world. And you're like, oh, but I want him to die. I like him. And then like there's like a love interest. You're like, well, he's gonna die. And yet no, the sidekick lives. And you're like, I did not see that
They
coming.
completely flipped everything on its
Yes.
side. They got rid of the main character or the people that you
Right.
think are the leads, and then the
Yep.
side characters.
Right.
reign. Yeah.
Well, and who else does that? Like there are some great films that have played upon our I don't
Cabin in
know.
the Woods?
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, great movie.
Frailty.
movie.
Frailty throws you for a loop, and
I
that's
don't know if I
a
know
point of
Frailty.
view. Oh,
Yeah.
we have to do that then.
All right, add it to the list.
It's
I'll do
dark,
it. Well,
everyone. It's
we're-
very dark.
Well, I
Okay.
can't wait.
Where were we? We're back to speed.
And back to speed.
I'm back to speed.
Yes, but we were talking about deaths and
Yeah.
how that's
Surprise.
the surprise deaths.
Yeah.
Again, even when they kill Beth Grant's character, which she plays Helen, she's the
Helen.
yeah, she's freaking out and wants to get off.
And again, super grounded in reality.
Yeah,
There's
that's-
definitely that person that's just like, I gotta
I'm
get
gonna
out of
try
here.
it.
I can't.
Yeah.
Get a panic attack.
and
Yeah.
and exactly how Sandra Bullock's character is is relieved that they're not all dead. But that, because when the tiny bomb that only kills Helen goes off, she literally thinks that was it.
And then she feels guilty for being relieved.
Yeah.
And those are normal reactions with, what we would anticipate would be normal.
Right. Absolutely.
It's very grounded.
Well,
reality.
and then, and this is so sad because I'm only thinking of him as Cameron. He's always Cameron in my head, no matter
Alan
what.
Ruck.
Yeah, Alan Ruck.
He's so good in this, and he'll
keep calling.
He's such a tourist.
Yes.
This what does he say? It's
the
also
airport.
the delivery. It's the
This is
delivery
the
of
airport.
things.
I've already seen
the airport.
Yeah.
Where he's just in shock. You know, like he's just completely out of it. But I just love it. Like, got on the wrong bus. No, this can't be happening.
No,
like
it's
this
not
is
real.
this
Not
isn't
real.
real. I think that's the other thing is like you see movies like this where you have a group of people. It's like an ensemble, but really it's all about like the main characters.
Right.
And you walk away from this movie and you remember
All the side characters.
all the side characters
Because
that are
they
just
make it
on
real.
this bus.
And
Yes.
they heighten the intensity and the fear because you care about these people on this bus.
Right.
And they do such and they do it not by making them all nice people.
No.
They're not. They're just normal people.
Or even really giving them any sort of a backstory. And it's a really good testament to their performances. They don't get a ton of lines, but like you get who Helen is as a character.
Oh God, who was the bus driver? Who's the bus driver?
Sam.
Sam. Oh
Sam.
God, we love
Hawthorne
Sam.
James.
And we're so worried about Sam the whole time.
Yeah.
He gets shot.
Right. You believe each and every character who they are without them having to give you all this exposition about their story.
Obviously the chemistry between the two of them, and then you hear interviews years down the road afterwards where it's like she's like, I was totally crushing on him, and he was like, I was totally crushing on her, and they never thought the other one had any interest, and it was so sweet.
Well, and I think that is a lot of the magic in the bottle.
Yeah.
There, like that, the lightning in the bottle, I should say, because I've heard that before, like the show Friends, David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston. The two of them were very much so crushing on each other.
Really?
But, never addressed it. It really helped that like unspoken nervous energy that you can't quite put your finger on.
But you can take it another direction because famously An Officer and a Gentleman with Deborah Winger and Richard Gere. And the rumor was, or the story was, she hated him and he hated her. And yet the passion on screen, people had no idea that it was like disgust and hatred.
So
Yeah, they could
strong
use it.
feelings.
Yeah,
Yes.
they could just use it, that intensity. I mean, it's not I really enjoyed this movie as a kid.
How old were you when you saw this movie?
I must have been 10. I know it came out in the summer, and I believe by my birthday, which was the end of the year, this is what I wanted. I wanted to show this movie at my birthday party with my friends. And that didn't happen thanks to a lady at the Blockbuster that talked my mother out of it. It was like,
no.
I hear that movie's very violent. I don't know if you should do that. My mom's like, well, I look like a really bad parent if I just go, it's fine. So she's like, we'll get this another time.
Comedy being, as I had told you guys when we went and saw this, I actively walked out of this film, and there was a television in the lobby of the theater that we were at, and we witnessed OJ's Bronco chase down the LA highways after leaving this film.
Oh, it's a different kind of speed.
It was a very different kind of speed, but like, again, you're sitting there
also in
going
LA.
like, and on a highway, and you're like, wait, what exactly?
That highway was finished.
The highway was finished. And
And it was a Ford Bronco.
it was a Ford Bronco instead of a, LA bus. But again, it was like, just the times.
Yeah.
Strange to believe that happened literally the same day I watched this film. And I was 13 and I went to the movie theater. But I don't think it's PG-13. I think it's R.
Oh,
No,
yeah. This
I
is
think
definitely an R.
I saw this because you were like, you have to see this movie. And that's when I saw it.
Yeah, it's...
Did he tell you that when he was 10?
Yeah. No, like I
Probably,
think,
yeah.
Just like, I mean, there are a lot of movies I think we pretty much were like, no, I will sit you down and you will watch this movie. And
And I don't remember any of them. I will say any of those movies when it was like, you have to see this movie, where I was like, it was all right.
yeah.
It's a very memorable movie.
right. I
And
can
it's
think of
usually
them right
a very, it's a very memorable experience too. Because
Right,
I was like,
like-
whoa.
Like you have to see The Usual Suspects.
Yes.
You have to
on
see
this 13-inch screen TV
right
while we're sitting on top of
top of the refrigerator in the basement, and then or Schindler's List, and you're like, it's in black and white.
yeah.
I'm like, trust me,
Trust
you have
me.
to watch this, and you're like, but you just watch stuff in black and white, and I'm like, no, this is not a road movie. You have to see this.
And then Fight Club.
Fight Club. Oh my god,
Fight Club
That'll
was
mess
another
you
one.
up.
Yeah. What I do want to say, because you're talking about, John, about how, you saw this movie in the theater as a kid. You said
Yep.
you were 13. So, I saw this at home. I definitely didn't see it in the theater. So the first time that I got to see it in the theater was earlier this year when we all got to see it
Yep.
on the
its
big screen for
30th
the first time.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, it's such a cool space too. Tivoli and Downers Grove.
Yep.
That theater is insane.
Yeah. The screen, the from a technical standpoint, from the sound standpoint, it was spot on.
And that's the thing. I like. They talk about magic, movie magic,
Mm-hmm.
and the power of getting a bunch of people together in the dark and the reactions, and how like you'll go to a movie and you'll see something funny or scary, and the reaction of the crowd together.
Mm-hmm.
It elevates and makes it something completely different. And I don't think I got that until they put they brought Star Wars back to the movie theaters in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And I had seen Star Wars growing up over and over again on television. And then I saw it in a theater and R2-D2 falls over and everybody laughs and I'm like, "Huh. I never thought about it like that." Like there
Right.
was just something different to it that you have. And yet in a theater where there weren't that many people, I still had an incredible impression with this film.
Yep.
And that is 30 years old and I had seen before. It was still a powerful film. There are very few films I've gone into a theater and I've had an impact when there was
Yep.
not a big crowd to impact me that would be different.
Yes.
I can really only think of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but that's it.
And that's another one of those
It's a
movies that you were
great
like,
movie.
you have to see this movie.
Yep.
So
I might as well be a plant in any audience.
Your laughter is contagious, my love.
Yeah, because I'll laugh regardless. I don't care if there's nobody else seated around me, and I feel like I'm laughing into a void. I will laugh stupidly because
Your
something
giggles
amuses me.
spread and like wildfire.
Thank
You
you.
giggle, and the audience is like a plague spread.
See,
throughout.
and that usually can soften even the hardest of souls into at least getting a chuckle or a chortle. So I love being part of large theater experiences, even if the theater is small in how many people are there. But
I like to influence the masses.
well, yeah, but again, we've talked about with the speed specifically that
The Speed.
Le speed. Dennis Hopper, come on. That
For those of you at home or
it is
wherever
a-
you are, who are listening for whatever reason. When we talk about the speed,
why are
we
you-
are talking about comic legend.
Eddie Izzard.
Yes. And Eddie's recapturing of
Yes,
or recap of Speed.
if it was done in France.
Yes.
But
less speed.
the thing that we've pointed out, I feel, a couple of times is, I mean, we obviously have not been watching this like every year or something to that effect, and the amount of gap between watches, at least for us, when we saw this in the theater, we were surprised by the beginning. We were surprised by the end. Yeah. There was a number of things that I think each of us had forgotten. So, I mean, it was
Was
like,
this a box office hit?
Yes.
Yes.
See, what I'm thinking is, I wonder, like, there are movies that, like, change and influence how other movies are afterwards.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a trope. Like this amazing, incredible Oscar-worthy but overlooked film called Airplane in 1980. That movie set the stage for all these silly movies afterwards.
Yes.
It like pretty much created a whole new kind of film.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, people wouldn't think it more than it is because they've seen it so much already. It's almost numbing. But at the time, it was surprising. And here we see a movie 30 years old that I'm sure there were things taken from it that became tropes. And it was still fresh when we saw it, which is just crazy.
Speed grossed $121.3 million in the United States and Canada, with an additional $229.2 million internationally, for a total worldwide gross of $350 million. And this far exceeded its production budget, which was estimated between only $30 million and $37 million.
Wow.
Right.
Like
and if
10
you
times.
Adjust for inflation, the kind of money that would make now.
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah. The film remained Sandra Bullock's highest grossing film until 2013, when Gravity surpassed it.
Seriously? Gravity's what surpassed it?
Wow.
Yeah, almost 20 years later.
Okay.
And she had been in a lot of blockbuster movies.
A lot of blockbuster movies, and I am sad because Miss Congeniality is a classic.
Yes.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Add it to the list.
Yep. We're going to take a few moments to fill our glasses and get ready to imbibe more after this. The Blue Whiskey Independent Film Festival exhibits short and feature-length motion pictures that utilize story elements in a new and exciting way. Our official selections are a carefully assembled blend of imaginative, sophisticated, and full-bodied stories. This is what our name represents. With audiences expect to experience character-driven independent cinema that is fueled by the filmmaker's passion for the art of visual storytelling. Filmmakers can expect an intimate festival experience where their personal story is valued as much as the one projected on the big screen. I am Jonathan C. Leggett, and I'm here along with
Michael Nowens
and
Trisha Leggett. See what it's like to be the middle person? Can't take you.
Well played. Yes.
And we are discussing the 1994 classic film Speed.
Le Speed.
Le Speed. Enjoying this podcast? Please subscribe or follow us on all of your favorite podcast providers, as well to get those new episodes as soon as we release them. Rate and leave us a review to help the show reach that larger audience. And you can also follow Imbibe Cinema on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Hey, guess what?
What?
You can also send us a text now.
What?
What? Yeah, look for a link, and you can text us on our show notes.
Welcoming the trolls. That's what we're doing.
Well, yeah, but again,
We don't have to read their comments.
Le jeu s'en fait, the game's on.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Back to Speed, because
Yes.
it's a good movie.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Who directed it, by the way?
Jan de Bont, and this may have been his first feature.
Holy crap.
He was the director of photography on Die Hard.
Huh.
Oh.
And so, yeah, if you really kind of think about it, this is Die Hard on, well, planes, trains, and automobiles.
But
Really.
Twister.
Yeah.
We've now been
No.
brought it back to
Yeah.
Bill.
Bill
did Twister.
Paxton.
We brought it back
oh
to
my
Bill
God,
Paxton.
this is so cool.
So
This is that Kevin Bacon affair, which we also referenced. Well
another
done, us.
yeah, another film that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Although, I mean, that one, you know, the evil guys in the black SUVs, like there's a number of elements where you're just like, okay, you're really forcing a few things here that don't completely make sense in the frame of this world. But Twister, still fantastic movie. One of one we quote frequently.
Cow. Another
Yep.
cow.
Nope,
It's
actually the same cow.
Same cow.
That
I'm sorry, I
movie-
gotta call you back. We got cows.
Did you see my cows?
No.
No, Aunt May, I didn't.
Oh.
Oh my God,
Philip Seymour Hoffman, yeah.
Too young.
So good.
Too young. But then Speed 2, The Haunting, and Lara Croft, Tomb Raider: The Cradle of Life.
Aw.
Yeah.
Last credit was 2003.
The way that I look at it is he directed 2 stellar movies.
Right.
Really.
And there are so many that don't even get that.
Right.
Right.
And maybe he stepped away like, you know what, that's what I had in
Well,
me. And you know what, I'm grateful for.
I want to
I'm
take this
grateful
moment. I want to take this moment to say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for Speed. Thank you for Twister. Those are some incredible movies.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jan de Bont. All right. So I know, Michael, you wanted to talk about the music.
I really
yeah.
do. The music in this movie, this is the music is by Mark Mancina, who also did Twister. And I have more to say on that, but
On Twister?
on Twister.
Oh,
But really, okay, my only comment is that if you listen to the Smurf theme and then you listen to the main theme of Twister,
yes,
you'll go, huh,
yes,
Oh,
they're
dear.
very similar.
yes.
And yet it works. But anyway, back to Speed. Mark Mancina's score to this is so great. I know our last episode, The Commitments,
Yes.
I commented about how I have scores. We talked about the scores.
Oh, yeah. And
in
Mary
that.
was like,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
hardcore on scores.
Hardcore on
There's like
movie
this
music.
whole like secret side to her that I had no idea. I was like, what?
But I commented about how I had 90s scores in my car, and one of them is always Speed. It's just like from beginning to end, a great score. I don't know how else to put it, but if
See-
you haven't heard it, it's not one like you can find on like Apple Music or Spotify or anything like that. I think you can only find it on physical media, but it is truly great. If I can share it, I will try and find it and then share it after this
Right.
episode
And then
drops.
what you
But
need
it's so
to
great.
do is you need to find Jack Black and have him.
Oh yeah, he
No,
would
'cause it's like-
do a
it's-
great job with this.
Yeah, he would. But it's like,
Dun 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 dun.
yeah, but there's this, it has this heartbeat element, this
Yes.
racing heart
Yes.
feel to it. That's there, and then there's the
Bum-ba-dum,
strings come in,
bum-ba-dum,
and it's yeah,
Bum 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 bum. Yeah.
yeah, and then you match a bus going 50 miles an hour to it, and you're there.
60. 60.
50.
You have to go.
I mean,
50.
they-
Can't beneath
It
it.
probably would be a good idea to aim for 60.
Did my brain go to Back to the Future?
No, that's 88 miles per hour.
Thank you.
Oh my God, how do I know that? And you, I'm old. Never mind.
But yeah, it's just it's a beautiful score. Because there is actually it is, like a lot of action movie scores. There's this wild sense of adventure to it. Like
Yes.
you
Yes.
can feel that in the music, but there's also a lot of heart to it. It's just a really great score.
Yeah.
It's one that I always remember. Like you go see movies and you can appreciate like, oh, the music was really good, but I can't place how it went.
Yeah.
I always have remembered what this score sounds like.
Right?
So-
Well, and it's one of those, like, if they were to play it or an orchestra was to play it, you'd be like, wait a minute, what is... Oh,
Yeah,
I know this.
one.
I know this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what haunts me? Totally random, sorry here.
Sure.
But there's a movie I don't remember. I know the plot, but I don't really remember it. But the score still haunts me decades later. or at least the main melody, and it's Curly Sue.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
I got to listen to that now.
Yeah, girl,
Yeah.
same.
No.
Sue.
Nothing.
Curly Sue. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember the movie. I don't
I don't remember the theme at all.
The main theme.
But again, I'm gonna out nerd myself here.
Yeah.
Because I believe I intimated about this previously, which is Aristotle's Elements of Drama.
Oh yeah, you did.
I have mentioned this previously on
push your
the
glasses
podcast.
up there. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. So
Professor.
elemental Aristotle's Elements of Drama. This is what he had determined are needed for true drama to take place. And it is 6 things. And it is number 1, scenery and costume. It's the spectacle of it, the visual portion of it.
Okay.
Number 2 is the musical score, the organized sound, how that immediately, those 2 elements immediately start to play off of each other and take you to that next level. The libretto, or the text and diction, so the words that are being used, all of these things in combination, as well as characterization, that's number 4. Number 5 is thought and content, the themes and ideas of whatever it is. And then the last thing being plot. If all 6 of these are working in a symbiotic relationship, you have good drama.
But the way you have listed them out, it almost sounds like you're listing them out in importance. And if you list them out that way in importance, I go reality television. That's drama. I mean, seriously, costuming.
Yep.
And sound, and then finally, plot is last.
What is the Eliezer percentage breakdown?
Oh yeah, 70% is how you look, 20% is how you sound, and 10% is what you say.
Yep.
So if you look good and you sound good, nobody really cares.
That also sounds like reality TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Where were we going? Do we know?
You were talking about Curly Sue's score.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So you just remember the melody of that score.
You found it?
Yeah.
You found the score?
When did that movie come out?
Curly Sue came out definitely a 90s movie.
96, 98?
91.
Shite.
Same year as The
91.
Commitments.
Now, mind you, I want to point out that I have not seen nor heard Curly Sue since that movie came out. And I think I was pretty close to that melody, right?
We could actually do a side by side.
We
in
don't
theory.
have to. Nobody really cares.
No, she was in C minor.
I'm not a singer.
That was lovely.
I like to hang out with folks.
The only thing I remember about Curly Sue, where they staged him getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
That's what I always remember.
See, and
Shit,
I
I don't
remember her in the
remember any of this
bathroom with the tights, and she's like, "It bitches."
What I love about this podcast too is the bizarre connections.
Correct.
Like Speed to Twister makes sense.
Yeah.
Speed to Curly Sue, no sense at all, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it
Right.
because we get there through music.
Yeah, and
But here's-
it's
awesome.
It's a
But-
weird one degree of Kevin
Oh my
not
God.
so bacon.
No, first the thing. Okay, so I love how you've romanticized this. You guys, it's so beautiful and it's so sweet, but this is alcohol connections. This is what this is.
She
Don't
raises
ruin
it
this.
Very
Don't ruin this for me.
It is called Imbibe. That's even funnier. Trisha and I have been watching a new show.
Man inside man.
Oh,
Inside
Man on the
Man.
Inside.
Man on the
The
Inside.
Man on the Inside with
And-
Ted
So good.
Danson.
Yes,
So
Ted
good.
Danson and comedy. John Getz, who is the boyfriend in Curly
right.
Sue.
Oh,
That's so funny.
everything connects.
It
Everything
really
does.
does with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I got a few
Bear.
Which
Pokings.
yes,
Poking the bear
which one
quotes.
was written by the Chicago Reader?
We got none from the Chicago.
What?
Reader this time.
Hey,
They
hey,
actually
hey,
liked
hey.
this one, or it was too old?
Leave them alone.
Sorry.
I just voted for best.
Hashtag best of fest. Speaking of which, listeners, please go on to chicagoreader.com and rate us for best fest of Chicago.
We talk about them a lot.
No, they actually really liked this movie.
Oh, good.
So that's good. It's fresh,
Ooh.
according to them. Time Out, on the other hand, says, eventually, inevitably, it goes too far, too fast, and ends up off the rails.
Oh, they were like, how can I say things that involve speed?
Right?
Yeah.
Like they're trying to be clever. It's
They're
like so clear.
clever. So clever.
And I mean, it does go off the rails because it ends up in the subway, and
And it
the
goes off the
subway
rails, like
ends
literally.
up. But
It literally goes off the rails.
Way to
Yeah.
ruin the more spoilers.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
they should know better. And I guess, I mean,
And how
let's
is that
face it,
inevitable?
it was the director's choice to have it do this, so it definitely went off the rails on purpose.
Okay.
Porpoise.
And there was. Oh my God. This gin is dangerous. Moving on.
The last two are both actually Washington Post.
Oh, WAPO.
First one from Washington Post says, the plot becomes so overextended as Reeves and Hopper wage their endless public transportation battle, even the hardest dieharders will consider leaping off way before the final stop.
Wow. That guy doesn't like action films. I'm sorry.
think
That is
so,
so
yeah.
sexist of me. That person doesn't like action films.
Dude, I feel like we've acknowledged that there was a literal jumping of a highway shark.
Yeah.
You know,
Get on the ride.
Get on the ride. You bought the ticket. Take the ride.
Was Speed ever a ride? It should have been a Universal ride.
Oh, it should be
for
now.
Why isn't it?
Is it 20th Century Fox? It should be a Disney ride now.
Oh my God. You get on the bus. This is so funny. And then the one part where you go over the highway is so cool.
You
It'd be
actually
so fun.
start on an elevator and then you end on a subway. The bus is just the middle part of it. It would make Tower of Terror.
Oh my God. And
Look
then,
like a
and then you would
kid's
have,
ride.
you
Make
have
this
these,
happen.
you have these segments where like Jeff Daniels is talking to you.
And it just blows up in front of you.
All right, last one, also from Washington Post. Undeniably, the picture now and again supplies that edge of the seat sensation. Yet,
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, get
Yet-
the butt. It's a butt. That's a butt in disguise.
Yeah.
You're a butt in disguise.
by action adventure standards, Speed never seems to shift into overdrive and let fly.
I'm so glad that one thing that all of these critics have in common is their love of the thesaurus.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like, oh, I'm so clever.
And
Yep.
I am not
So
against
witty and
abusing
pithy.
the thesaurus. I love doing it. But, I mean, seriously,
You like
folks,
abusing thesauruses?
Don't act
I mean,
like
what
it's
did
a
that dinosaur
crime.
ever do to you?
The theosauruses. I enjoyed that.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
No, that's what you said.
Thank
Thesaurus?
You. Thank you.
You said theosauruses, and I was like, are they dinosaurs?
Yes, they are. What are
And
they?
this is what unregulated gin can do. Although, still better than our Oscar podcast.
Yeah, I'm not under the table yet.
You guys have such a treat coming for you in
Oh my
March.
God.
It's going to
not
be
even
so
coherent.
great. Maybe February. We'll see.
My personal favorite was it'll be an entire year after the actual Oscars with which we were
Took that long
discussing.
to recover.
Absolutely. I mean, The Hangover was a year long.
Oh God, I was under the table. All right. We greatly appreciate all of our listeners for choosing this podcast and for supporting independent films or really old, not so independent major motion picture feature films. Keep an ear out for our
Really old movies like Speed.
and trains, planes, and automobiles. Keep an ear out for our next episode next Wednesday. Check out our show notes or drop us a note or message us. Visit imbibecinema.com. I'm Jonathan C. Leggett, and thanks for imbibing with us. Cheers.
Guys, you ever seen this really old movie where like this
Star Wars?